Maiden day for the E-flite Valiant turned out to be pretty nice, though it did get a little bumpy in the wind up higher. I was more worried about the runway itself because we've been getting a lot of rain followed by warm temperatures, so the grass is growing pretty quickly. But I just rolled on the gas and the Valiant took off nicely. At this point, I'm already happy with the amount of power the Valiant has because it climbed out easily. The only real trim changes it needed was a little bit of up elevator. Everything else stayed the same as it came out of the box. I've already clicked in the elevator trim changes, and here I can let go of the sticks and it flies by straight and level. I also like that the controls have some authority on this plane. It's not real lethargic. A beginner might want to dial in some dual race just to soften it up a little bit, but for the most part this plane is easy to fly and goes where you point it. My giant scale Valiant loves the rudder, and I was hoping that the little Valiant would also. This is like a minute into the maiden flight and I started doing rudder turns. It's a little bit of counter control with the ailerons and it makes nice flat turns. It does change altitude if you get a little carried away with the elevator. And because this plane makes so much lift, when you turn it back into the wind you need to get off the gas because it starts climbing out right away. Here I'll do that same rudder-based figure 8 with the giant scale Valiant. Even though these planes are wildly different in terms of size, the way they fly is surprisingly similar. I noticed it'd be a lot smoother if I just went a little faster, but I like the idea of being able to slow a plane down and still do this. And both the big and the small Valiant seem to respond to the difference in speed the same way. The flaps on the E-flite Valiant are just as effective as they are on the giant scale. And the effects are predictable. This is still in the maiden flight, and making an approach with full flaps is very easy to do because the plane's real predictable. Gas it with full flaps and the Valiant jumps off the ground and needs a bunch of down elevator. Then we kick in a rudder and turn it downwind. And here I do the same thing with the big Valiant. Looks real familiar, don't it? The big Valiant has a little edge here, it's just that it shocks people that something this big can climb out like that. Everything had been going perfectly, but that longer grass caught up with me when we decided to land and end the maiden flight. And it tripped it just a little bit. No damage. One of the things that surprised me about the giant scale Valiant is how well it handles upside down. Because it's smaller and much lighter, the little Valiant does bounce around a little bit more in the wind inverted, but it's easy to control and flies just fine. I do touch and goes all the time, and with the giant scale Valiant, I found out you don't have to just climb out and turn. You can do rolling turns with it, and it's very predictable. You notice the roll rate is pretty slow on the bigger one just because it's got such a huge wing. This is the first time I tried this with the smaller Valiant, so I did it up a ways, and you notice the roll rate's quite a bit quicker, so it's a little harder to keep up with. As I got more used to the roll rate, I was able to get the plane going in the direction I wanted it. One of the fellows from the Texas Bill Squad division of FlyingRC.net actually got this plane for me for a review. The day before this maiden day, he bet that I could take the little Valiant off of the big Valiant using one of the wings as the runway. Even I wouldn't do something that goofy, would I?
You might have to get a bigger airplane. All right, guys, thumbs up or thumbs down if he's going to make it. Let's see it.
Thumbs up.
All right.
Tom can do it.
Tom, there's no confidence in you in this.
I might give you even.
Will both planes survive is the real question.
Right here is where we're doing all the scientific planning for this event. I did tape the flap and aileron on the wing that we're going to use for the runway because the plane did push them down when it rolled across there. That would be bad.
What do you want? I think you ought to start with the main wheel. Together, I think we'll be okay.
Hey, before Tom gets back, Mike, what do you think about this? I'm filming you right now. What are the odds?
The odds are good.
Better than 50-50?
Better than 50-50.
Okay.
And here I'm going to do the official's thrust test. Everything from here on out is an educated guess. I decided to hold a little up elevator and a little left rudder, so if it did fall off of the plane, it did it away from the crowd. I still had no idea if this was going to actually work.
Yep.
But apparently the Valiant knew it'd work all the time. What surprised me most was the tail dropping when it went off the end of the wing. I expected the Valiant to sink a little bit first, but it just turned upwards and left. Oh yeah, and here's the victory roll. You knew there had to be one in here someplace.
Okay, I'm just trying to, just videoing the doubters here. Nobody had confidence.
We all put a thumbs up.
Elvis said he knew.
Oh.
I said it would.